Canada has long been known for its welcoming image, a land of opportunity and diversity. But today, our tradition of openness faces new challenges. Rapid population growth is straining services and housing, sparking debate across the country. Canadians are asking, can we remain welcoming while ensuring fairness and sustainability? The new immigration bill aims to find that balance, shaping the future of our nation. The debate over Canada's new immigration bill is about more than politics. It's about what it means to be Canadian: fairness, rules, and responsibility. Many feel the system is overwhelmed and want a more controlled, predictable approach. Both lifelong citizens and new immigrants are calling for reform. The new bill aims to restore confidence, tighten rules, and ensure Canada remains welcoming, while upholding the law. What kind of country do we want to be? Canada's immigration system is visibly overwhelmed. Headlines and viral images show long lines, makeshift shelters, and anxious families. The infrastructure is buckling under pressure, leaving many in limbo and public servants stretched thin. Delays ripple through services, fueling frustration and tough questions. The system's generosity is being tested, and calls for reform are growing louder as Canadians seek a fair, effective process. Across Canada, high immigration is straining housing and jobs. Home prices and rents are soaring, leaving many, newcomers and longtime residents, struggling to find affordable places to live. At the same time, labor shortages persist, yet many skilled Canadians and immigrants are underemployed. This disconnect fuels frustration and debate about whether our immigration and economic policies are truly aligned. Canadians value fairness and the rule of law, but many now feel the immigration system is being abused and public trust is eroding. Loopholes and vulnerabilities are seen as exploited, especially in programs for international students and temporary workers. Even recent immigrants who followed the rules feel betrayed. The new Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act aims to restore confidence and fairness to Canada's immigration system. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act introduces a strict 12-month deadline for refugee claims in Canada. If someone waits over a year after arriving to apply for asylum, their claim may be ineligible for a full hearing. The goal is to prioritize those in urgent need and discourage using the asylum system to prolong stays. Critics worry this could hurt vulnerable people, but the government says it's needed to restore order and integrity. The new bill cracks down on people staying in Canada after their status expires. Implied status rules are stricter, and the government can now speed up deportations for those denied asylum or found living here illegally. Appeals will be streamlined, and removal orders enforced quickly. The message is clear: Canada's immigration laws will be respected, and staying without status will no longer mean years in limbo. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act marks a new era of accountability, cracking down on immigration fraud with severe penalties for applicants, employers, and consultants. Fake job offers, marriages of convenience, and forged documents now risk loss of status, deportation, and bans. Unscrupulous consultants and employers face blacklisting and criminal charges. These strict measures restore fairness for honest immigrants and send a clear message: integrity matters in Canada. For years, Canada's asylum system has been exploited by those crossing from different borders, often in safe country, seeking a more lenient path to permanent status. This created a parallel stream, bypassing the normal, rigorous channels. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act is Ottawa's response, closing loopholes and reaffirming that Canada's asylum system is for genuine protection, not queue jumping. Canada's immigration system faced abuse beyond asylum claims. The international student program, meant to attract talent, became a backdoor to low-wage work and permanent residency. Questionable colleges sold student visas, not education. Similarly, the LMIA process was exploited. Fake job offers were sold for thousands, letting some leapfrog honest applicants. The new bill's crackdown on student visa and LMIA fraud aims to restore fairness and integrity to Canada's system. The most compelling reason for these changes is the deep disappointment felt by those who did everything right, both Canadians by birth and immigrants who followed every rule. They waited years, gathered documents, invested savings, and trusted the system would reward honesty and hard work. Watching others jump the queue through fraud or shortcuts feels like a personal betrayal. Their frustration isn't about xenophobia, but about fairness. They want a system that honors its own rules, not closed borders. This growing resentment among law-abiding citizens became a political force the government could no longer ignore. Many Canadians who support immigration in principle were frustrated by the disconnect between ambitious targets and the reality in their communities. They felt dismissed or unfairly labeled as intolerant for raising concerns about housing, healthcare, and social services. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act is Ottawa's response, a statement that says, "We hear you." The bill aims to restore balance and rebuild trust by making the system both compassionate and credible. It rewards honesty, penalizes deceit, and prioritizes those who follow the rules. By closing loopholes and increasing accountability, the government is realigning the system with Canadian values. The message, "Your faith in the system was not misplaced." Canada is taking steps to protect the integrity of your journey. For rule followers, this bill is a long-awaited acknowledgement. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act hits hardest those who relied on delays to stay in Canada, late refugee applicants and overstayers. Previously, people could live in the shadows for years, then file an asylum claim and enter a backlog. Now, anyone in Canada over 12 months without status is ineligible for a full refugee hearing. Expired visas or permits will mean being out of status much faster, with a higher risk of removal. The era of using bureaucracy as a shield is over. Deportation will be swifter, with the Canada Border Services Agency empowered to act quickly. The limbo between a negative decision and departure will shrink dramatically. The law ensures removal orders are enforced promptly, not just suggested. This is a seismic shift for those who built lives in legal gray areas, jobs, families, community ties, but the government sees it as necessary to stop the growth of a non-status population straining resources. For those who relied on system inefficiencies, the window is closing. The message is clear: your time is up when your permit expires. The Strong Borders, Safe Communities Act marks the end of the line for overstayers. The bill targets those who tried to secure status through deception, fraudulent documents, fake marriages, or shady consultants. Zero tolerance means severe, often permanent consequences. Fake employment letters or misrepresentation can now lead to a permanent ban from immigrating to Canada. Marriages of convenience face tougher scrutiny, with both sponsor and applicant risking criminal charges and loss of status. The message sponsorship is not for sale. Refugee claimants from countries now considered safe will see faster processing and removal. The goal is to keep the backlog for those fleeing real danger, not those whose home countries have stabilized. Honest immigrants have nothing to fear. These measures protect the system's integrity for their benefit. The law weeds out dishonest actors who undermine everyone's credibility. Canada's doors remain open to those who respect its laws. For those who play the system, leniency is over. The new rules are about protecting fairness, not creating fear.